and thanks for tuning in again with my interview with Jerry from TutorABC. Today, he's going to talk to us about tips for working with beginner students, and he will be talking about how he uses Mandarin in class. And I know that doesn't apply to everyone, but he does talk about how he uses it to his advantage and creates more of a bilingual class. And then he talks about what to do when you have a student that is parroting you. And even with him speaking Chinese, the student was still parroting him. Even when he was able to explain it in Mandarin, like, you don't have to repeat when I say this, or just repeat me when I say the word repeat. The student was still repeating him. So he gives a tip about what to do in that scenario. And then he also talks about visuals. So let's get started with this part 4. And here we go. So one of my questions related to strategies.
Yes.
What strategies have best served you with your students that, like, when you get a 9 or a 10, what do you think is working well for you?
Okay. That depends. Okay, and I have two solutions for different types of teachers. The first one is if you speak Mandarin, like it doesn't matter like if you're a native speaker of Mandarin or you speak a little bit. If you speak a little bit of Mandarin or you speak the language perfectly, use it. I've only done like 2 times uh, of that, like teaching the class in English, and that didn't work out too well for me.
Okay.
So if you speak the language, it doesn't matter how well you speak it, just use it. Some people, yeah, some people don't even know what apples
Right,
means.
and you need to explain it.
Right.
And this is like actually considered a better form of learning a second language when you have bilingual education, you have that option. So I think that's
Yeah.
something that some of the Asian companies can learn from, just
Yeah.
researching more about bilingual education, because that's, like, in our school system, that's one of the best
Mhm.
ways to learn. So,
Yeah. Yeah, and also I think if you don't speak the language, it's okay, but you have to prepare a lot of pictures.
right, a lot of
Like,
visuals.
yeah. So for example, I personally have a lot of pictures for fruit, clothing, and places like
Okay.
hospital, restaurant, blah blah blah. Yeah, so that always helps
Add
a
them in
lot.
as you're teaching.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
So the two suggestions are, if you speak Mandarin, use it to your advantage when necessary. And
Yeah.
if you don't, have those visuals ready to upload into your lesson.
Hmm. Yeah, and also if you don't speak the language, you only speak English.
Yeah.
It's better if you repeat a lot, like
Okay.
really, really a lot. Like, do you like apples? Do you like apples? Apples? Do you like apples? And because I find that most of the students with lower levels, they tend to repeat what you say,
Okay.
whatever you say. So I had this experience, really funny. Uh, wow, let's say this student's name is Johnny. Okay, Johnny. Johnny is really funny. He's like level 1, level 2. I can't remember, but he repeats literally everything I say. So I would say, "Hello, Johnny. How are you?" And he would say, "Hello, Johnny. How are you?" And
I've had that.
I'll go, "Okay, Johnny. When I say your name, it means
Talking to you.
uh, yeah, I'm talking to you. So don't repeat what I say, okay?"
And did you
I
say
mean,
it in Mandarin?
no, I said that in English first. So Johnny goes, "Okay, Johnny," and he couldn't remember what I was what I was saying, the whole sentence. So he was like, "Okay, Johnny, when I blah, blah, blah," and then he stops. So I was like, okay, so I switched in Mandarin. So I switched to Mandarin. So I said, uh, okay, Johnny, if I say something and I want you to repeat, I will say, repeat after me. Okay? Repeat after me. And Johnny goes, okay, repeat after me. Or that, no. When I want you to repeat, I will say this phrase and you repeat, okay? And he says, okay. And then I was like, all right, so Johnny, let's talk about fruits. And he goes, okay, Johnny, let's talk about fruits. So when uh, whenever I have this kind of student, I would just open up Cambridge Dictionary and I will type in, like, for example, we're talking about bathroom, right? So I'll type bathroom and I will just read the sentence
Right.
that's coming. Yeah.
Yeah.
So at least they get to pronounce they get to practice the pronunciation and stuff.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you're giving it to them in a way they can understand. So you're showing them a picture and then saying the word and then you can use it in a sentence. But if you're asking them questions and they don't even know that they're questions, then that's not going to be
Hmm.
useful.
Oh, and also, it's really helpful if you use like one word repeatedly. Like for example, when he does something very well, you can just usually I would say good because that's pretty recognizable if
Right.
even if the person doesn't have a good level of English. So I would say good, and I will always say good. I wouldn't say great or great job or good job or something that has the same meaning but different. I would always say good,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
they can kind of recognize this word. And
Throughout the lesson.
yeah, so I think that's better, like, because a lot of teachers, they have they they tend to use different words, like
Yeah.
that's the thing in English. You don't like to say the same word a lot of times, but I think with the lower level students,
They need
it's
that.
better if you do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Up next, Jerry is going to give his cultural perspective as a Taiwanese and anything that might help us as Westerners coming in and teaching students online in China or Taiwan. Okay, see you next